I'm Courtney Kearney, founder and owner of Kearney. There we go. I'm Courtney Kearney, founder and owner of Kearney Consulting. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to be talking all things training and training specific to CRM. But first, we have some very big news that I want to share with you guys first. I've trickled it out here and there, but we have some concrete news to share. So stay tuned to the very end and you can find out what that news is. Little teaser for you. If you go out to our website, you can get a ton of resources. I will drop that link into the chat window. We've got blog articles, whether that's recapping the user group call. We just had a great one last week, so be sure to check that one out. We talked call logs and holiday cards and contact cleanup. It was a really great call, so definitely check that out on our website. We've got some upcoming webinars. The free webinar, just like this one, but for next month in November, is going to be talking about CRM meets CX. I just dropped the link in there if you want to register to attend that webinar. Usually CX, client experience, seems to stay in its own lane and have nothing to do with the CRM system. And Amanda Rao and I are attending the Southwest Regional Conference for SMPS at the end of this month. And we are combining them and uniting them, bringing them together. So we're going to take some of that discussion and talk about it on the free webinar, because not everybody can head out to Arizona and be at that conference. So we want to bring that content to you guys. So be sure to get all of your marketing people in to that webinar so you can talk client experience in relationship with CRM. And the next one I want to let you know about is if you are a CoCentral user or a Uninet CRM by CoCentral user, then feel free to attend our Tune Up for 2022. It's a 3-part series, and we're going to be covering all of the nitty-gritty of your records and how to keep those fine-tuned so that you can start the year off fresh with streamed down records and making it the best for your users when they are in the system. All right, we're going to kick it off with a poll. That should say, what do you struggle with most when it comes to CRM training? Attendance, frequency of having the trainings, or lack of content and you're not training because there's nothing to train on? So what is your biggest struggle when it comes to CRM training? It looks like we're about 42% participation, so I'll give it about 15 more seconds. 100%, woohoo, good job. All right, so it looks like we're almost split with 57% with attendance and 43% frequency. I hear you. So we're going to talk about how to address both of those in the training today. But first, let's talk big picture. What are 5 best practices for training? Number 1, always start your training off with why. Hopefully you've done the work to know why you need a CRM. Hopefully you've done the work to know why you need a CRM now, why you have it. Why are you asking the people to do what it is that you're about to train them on? So if we're going to do a contact manager training, we're going to look at how to enter a contact, how to update a contact, how to use Outlook to update a contact, any of that. Then I'm going to stress the importance of why we need to maintain our contacts in our CRM system. The main one being, we need to stay in business. Your business relies on return clients, relationships with clients. That is the main purpose of a client relationship management tool. So starting that out when you are beginning your training, it really gets the buy-in, because you're not just saying, okay, so I need you to add to your to-do list today. I'm out. I'm the one doing the training and I already don't want to be in it. So really setting it up for success, saying, all right, I know that it can be tedious to get in there, but listen, the reason we need this is because we want our clients to feel valued. In order for them to feel valued, they need to hear from us. To be able to hear from us in our email campaigns, we got to have their email address. So every single contact that you enter, we need you to have an email. Things like that. Change it for your why, change it for whatever the training is, and adapt it, of course. But that is best practice number 1. Start with your why. Best practice number 2, always make training sessions role specific or topic specific. So what do I mean by that? Role specific is having all of your executives together and showing them dashboards. Don't also have your marketing people, your business developers, or technical staff and go, okay, so we're going to do this 3-hour training. Executives, I just need you to listen to the first 15 minutes. No. Or if you do it topic specific. So, hey, our BD, our marketing, and our operations, they all manage contacts. We can have there's a new contact interface training with all of those users. So there's a role specific and a topic specific, but you never ever want to do let's all get together and have a training where I'm talking to you for 5 minutes, talking to you for 5 minutes. You're losing the whole audience. So make your training sessions role and or topic specific. Number 3, frequency and consistency. So we talked about this in our number 1 struggles. Almost half of you said frequency. So really making training a part of your culture. So it's just a cultural norm. Every second Tuesday, you guys are with me, CKC is having a webinar. So making it part of that norm and that cadence. So everybody knows the second Tuesday at 1 o'clock Central, we all know where we are. So make that part of the routine, and that helps with the frequency, the consistency. Now you can play with that. Right after you do implementation, it might be important to be meeting weekly. It might be important to do every other week and then drop to a month. So you can play with that frequency, but you want to make it consistent for sure. Number 4, when possible, address multiple learning styles. What do I mean by multiple learning styles? We all know that everybody's brains work differently and Zoom burnout is real. So you've got to get creative as far as how you're delivering the message, getting more enthusiastic, using props, whatever that might mean. But really what I'm after by learning styles is how you're presenting the information and letting people interact with it. So having a more of a lecture style like this, slides, talking through points, mixing in that show and tell. Y'all have been on webinars with me where I do live demos, that kind of show and tell. Also doing a follow along. Hey, everybody, I'm going to be talking through the contact manager. You guys log into your CRM, follow along. If you lose where I'm at, let me know, so that they're doing it. We have a staff of 8, and every single person, when I get on one-on-one training with them, has a different preference. Some of my team likes to watch, and I can just record quick videos. Hey, here, Carissa, this is how you change a whatever for communications. Hey, Courtney, this is how you do this in the advanced settings of Uninet. Each one also says, well, wait a minute, for this topic or for this content, it would actually be better if you would walk me through it. If I'm doing the mouse, if I'm doing the clicking, then I will retain that information better than just watching you on the screen. So you've got to think through that for everyone's learning style. We do the same thing here at CKC. We provide you live webinars and content. We provide the slides. We also have a written recap so people can consume the information in narrative form. We also provide the video so they can go back and watch that. So really looking at what is best for your users, whether that's quick videos, a screenshot, a manual. Everybody's different. Best practice number 5, short and sweet. We all know that long gone are the days of 3-hour meetings. So really 30-minute windows is great. That's what we have found. That's what this is. So really you can get that on your calendar. You can get it on other people's calendars. Short and sweet, to the point. All right, this brings us to our next poll question. Of the 5 best practices that we just covered, what is your favorite? Number 1, always start your training with why. Number 2, always make training role or topic specific. Number 3, frequent and consistent. Make training a cultural norm. Number 4, when possible, address multiple learning styles. And number 5, keep it short and sweet. Already up to 85% participation. Awesome. Ding, we're at 100. Awesome. All right, so it looks like 43. Oh, we've got a 2-way tie. 43% for number 1, always start with why. And number 3, make training a cultural norm. And number 5, short and sweet. I love it. Thank you so much for participating in those. Feels good to have 100%. For the rest of the training, we're going to be talking about 4 specific types of CRM training. The initial user training, right out of you're done with implementation, you've configured the account. Now we're going to train the users for the very first time. Then we're going to look at ongoing training, new hires, and then process and integration training. That last one is usually ignored or not done at all. All right, so you've just finished implementation. Congratulations. Now we're going to do our first user training. And remember, no 3-hour training where we learn everything there is to know about this new CRM product. No way. Instead, we're going to have it be short, topic specific, or short role specific trainings. So, hey, for the next week, we're going to meet every morning for 30 minutes, every afternoon for 30 minutes. And we're talking about this with marketing. We're talking about this with BD, whatever it is to get you through that initial training. But don't try to do it all at once. That's labor intensive and nobody's going to pay attention or retain it. When possible, send the materials ahead of time. So if this is I do this a lot for some of our brand new clients, especially if it's a service that not everybody completely understands. So I just did this for a client that we kicked off that we are helping them select and evaluate, do that backwards, evaluate and select a CRM product. So I recorded a video explaining what was to come, 1.5 minutes. Hey guys, we're going to be looking and having these interviews. We're going to be looking at these products. This is what CRM means. This is what it's about. Thanks. Look forward to the process. Quick, to the point. Obviously, it was 1.5 minutes, so a little bit longer than that, but that set them up. In that email, I also included the interview questions that I was going to ask them. So how this translates to training is if you want people to already know what the product looks like, send them a 30-second video of what it looks like so that they're not seeing it cold for the very first time in the training. Send them a screenshot of, hey, here's some basic navigation. In the upper right hand is where you log in. In the lower left hand is where you log out. Any of that kind of stuff. Provide users in this initial training key terms. What are those definitions? What the heck does CRM mean? Client relationship management. What does go, no go mean? What all the acronyms that we throw around, what does all that mean? What does UAT mean? If your account is going to be doing some testing in a sandbox account, what the heck does that mean? So really going through those terms and conditions will get everybody on the same page. You never want to throw out something like, hey, so on your review, it's going to be KPIs, and those are going to be tied to the CRM, and hope you're good with your go, no go, and your BD and your MKTG. What in the world did you just say? So really saying, hey, so at your review, we're going to have some key performance indicators that are tied to the client relationship management tool. Okay, now I'm following you. You're speaking English. Process guide and or flowcharts. So when we get a lead, this is what I want you to do with it, whether that's a screenshot or just a flowchart that says, put it in as a lead, put it in as an opportunity, put it in as a contact, whatever your process is. Then it flows over here. Then accounting is notified. Then this is their process. Then IT is notified. This is their process. Build out that flow chart. User guide, pretty self-explanatory. How are we going to use the system? Integration guide. This one is typically overlooked, but if you're doing any sort of integration, whether it's with your financial system feeding your CRM, with your CRM feeding a Procore or a operations system, whether that is the CRM pushing to a MailChimp or Constant Contact, map out those integrations so everyone's clear on what the behaviors are. If the financial data connector or accounting is going to own a field in the CRM, please don't be like me and spend 2 years entering information and then feeling like you've lost your mind 2 weeks later when the information is gone because the FDC has overwritten it. So make sure that everybody knows and is on the same page about how integrations are handled. And last but not least, an expectations and responsibilities matrix. Whose responsibility is it to enter contacts, to update them? Whose responsibility is to get the lead in and update it? What happens when we win or lose? What happens when a project is kicked off? All of those things spell out in a chart that says who is responsible for it. What are the expectations as far as frequency? How often should you be entering and updating information? And then the KPIs that are going to be tied to their annual review. All can be listed on a matrix that is given to new hires, that is given to marketing staff and BD, seller doers. All of that makes it clear of what the expectations are. I'm going to check the chat and make sure we don't have any questions so far before I move on to the next training type. Perfect. All right, so the next one is you're done with implementation. Now you are in maintenance mode, so it's ongoing training, focusing on building that cultural norm of we have CRM training every month. This is what it's going to look like. Now you can play with the learning style or where we're going to meet or how we're going to meet, but that keeping some part of it consistent is important. Also, don't be scared to give homework. We do this with our clients where it's, hey, we don't call it homework, but hey, here are your action items. Here are my action items. This is what's important for you to go do before the next training or the next whatever. Rotate trainers. This is a big one. So we've had a client where it kind of turned into a punishment. If you weren't there, whoever the trainer was got to pick the next trainer. And it would be like, oh, Kim's not here today. So Kim, you get to be the trainer next week. Well, guess who is always there at the rest of the trainings because she did not want to present on whatever, contact cleanup. And then she would pick the next person. So play with that a little bit. So it doesn't always have to be the same person. That also changes things up to where they don't hear the same voice. They can hear it, differently. We just went through this at my Taekwondo studio where I swear our new instructor taught a kick completely differently. And my old instructor standing there going, I have told you this 100 times. Well, I guess I just heard it differently because how she said it clicked. How you've been saying it didn't click. So hearing it, even if it's the same material, a different way from someone else is important. Part of the employee's professional development or training hours. If you are at a firm where you have to have 40 hours a year in professional development or training, get your CRM a part of that approved list. Also, if there's something where you can do like any AIA CEUs or anything like that, or CPSM CEUs, get those connected if possible. Then get creative. So training can be something like a quick video or a newsletter, shout outs so that, hey, Laura did a great job telling me about Megan. Because of what she told me, we won this project. But I found that information in the CRM. Without the CRM, we wouldn't have won it. Those kind of shout outs. Do a lunch and Zoom where you're all eating lunch together, get on a Zoom. If you're in the office, you can still do a lunch and learn. This one's one of my favorites, but I'll give you a tip. do it in the order of learning and libations. The client who was doing this pre-COVID did libations and learning, and then everybody done forgot the learning. So do learning and then pass out the libations. Get creative with whatever the training style is that will get people there and stay engaged. Check our chat for Q&A. Looks like we're still good. New hire training. Your CRM should be a part of your onboarding process. Welcoming them to the company and telling them that the CRM is important and a vital piece of the process and how you win work and keep work. An introduction video to all new hires, regardless of their role. And then create the data in the CRM culture from day one. These are our expectations. Here's the roles, responsibilities, and expectations matrix. This is where you fit into it. Right there from day one, set it up for success. Last but not least, the process and integration training. Really, every user needs to know your data process. So when you get a piece of data, whether that is a contact phone number, name, email address, an opportunity, a potential project, a new project, what happens to all that intel? Where does it go? What happens when it's in the system? Who's updating it? How is it updated? All of that should be mapped out, clearly documented, so that everybody understands what that process is. Then you review that at least quarterly, because technology changes. The user interface might change. There might be a new feature, like having a specific form that can cull down records for, hey, if I am entering a healthcare opportunity, I can only have these 10 fields that I see versus a higher education where it's these different fields. Looking at all of that, you can incorporate those kind of changes into your processes if you're reviewing them quarterly. Integrations are great, but they are dangerous if they are not watched and maintained and fully understood. So the example that I gave earlier, I would enter the date to projects and then go back 7 proposals later. And I'm like, I swear I put this date in here. Where is it? Well, I didn't know that the financial data connector owned that field. So it was overwriting the information that I was putting in there. So if I wanted it, and if I fully understood the process, I had to tell accounting, hey, please enter this date into the start date in your system. And then it would come over right there. Okay, well, now I know. So now I know the process. Integrations must be monitored. And there's also training on the other side of it. So if your accounting software changes, now that integration has changed. We are going through a process right now where it's painful trying to figure out, okay, this is the back end field of this in accounting. Do you still use that? Where is that? Oh, we haven't been using that for a year. Well, that explains why it's not populating on our end. Okay, now where is it on your end? So really watching those integrations and making sure on the other side that it still stayed the same. If MailChimp changes where they're pushing information, then our integration is going to break because we put everything in our CRM and it pushes to MailChimp. Well, we've got to stay up to date on MailChimp and on our CRM. The last tip that I'll leave you with is proper and consistent training is the key to successful user adoption. I hope you have found this very helpful, and I appreciate the time that you spent. With the last couple minutes, I want to reveal our big news that we are super excited about here at CKC. Thank you so much for staying to the end. And the big news is I've written a book. It is official. It is in the editor's hands. Chaz Ross Monroe and I have co-authored a book about CRM, and I'm about to reveal the first or the top 3 book cover designs. No one outside of our team has seen this. So here are the 3 options. The title of the book is CRM or Die, Manage Your Client Relationships or Perish. So I'd love to see in your, I didn't put a poll together because I just got these images and decided last minute to throw them in here. So if you want to drop in the chat window what your favorite is, we can go A, B, C, where the word die is like perishing away or like dissolving can be A. The middle one in black can be B, and then the CRM or die where the die looks like it's written in blood can be the letter C. So A, B, or C as you're looking at the, I'm like sweating. I'm so nervous showing this to you guys. Oh my gosh. It's like showing your baby pictures or something like, or I think it's worse than that actually, because babies are cute. You just never know. So if you want to drop it in the comments, we'll go ABC or 1, 2, 3, or just describe it. Like I like the one where it's disappearing, or the black cover, or the blood. Yay! Thank you guys. This is so fun. Oh, and thank you for the congrats and the sweet notes as you guys are dropping in your votes. That's very, very sweet. I'm going to take a screenshot because that's really kind. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much. I hope that you got some good tips for CRM training, and that if you're struggling with the frequency or the attendance, that you got some good ideas out of this. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Definitely check out the links for our upcoming events next month. Oops, and it went backwards. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.